This is the Daily Dirty.
The Daily Dirty. Breaking pop culture news, influencer drama, and everything in between.
Daily Dirty.
On Unwell On Air.
Okay, well, this transitions well into the article from British Vogue, because they talk about in this article the aura of having a boyfriend, or like girls' aura kind of going down once they get a boyfriend. That was one of the quotes from the article. So let's dive into the article. Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? Okay, people, this is like causing a lot of conversation online, and it's a very interesting discussion of basically the author of this article, Chante Joseph, I believe is how you pronounce her name, kind of talks about how a lot of girls on social media now are not being boyfriend forward facing because in fear of having a boyfriend kind of,
coming across as lame,
decreasing their aura.
Yeah, she literally opened up the article by saying, if someone so much as says my boyf on social media, they are muted, and there's nothing more than following someone for fun, only for their content to become my boyfriendified suddenly.
Yeah, and I'm curious what you guys think, because I still, as like a single 28-year-old woman, I still am looking for a boyfriend. I'm still open to partnership. I want to know what it feels like to be in love. So I don't necessarily online think, I don't follow a lot of girls whose brand is like couple content or family content or parent content, because that's not necessarily what resonates with me. I think I look for kind of more like feminist thinkers and people who are commenting on pop culture, etc. So in terms of social media, that doesn't like really come across my algorithm as much. But in person, when a girl leads with my boyfriend, or I can tell that that's like all that she really cares about, I definitely think in my head, okay, I don't know if this is someone who I want to spend a lot of time with.
Yeah. And I'm sure that since you are in those feminist spaces, you're familiar with the like the decentering men movement.
Right.
And everyone has their own definition of what that means. What that meant to me was not having a man be the center of your life, like literally decentering men. So, men taking up 10% of your mental capacity of that. And I think the same can be applied for when a girl has a boyfriend. There should be more going on in your life, more that you're presenting. And he's just like a little sprinkle. He's there.
Right.
There's Tom. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like he did something nice. Say, okay, that's enough of Tom.
Right.
And then we go back to the other several interesting things we have going on in our lives. I think if it's done that way, then it's a different story.
Absolutely.
Then it's like the full scope of a woman's life. Because it's also not fair to expect women to be like, no more boyfriends, guys.
Yeah.
Men don't exist. Like that's not how a lot of people want to live.
No.
So I think if it's like, as long as it's, as long as we're seeing a full well-rounded experience, like a woman's experience in going through a life, I think it's a different story. But if your whole personality is your boyfriend, that's lame.
Yeah.
I agree. And sometimes that does reflect on your social media, whether you're a content creator or not. If it's all pictures, couple pics of you and your boyfriend, that's boring. But that's also like, okay, that might just be your life and your reality. I will say, MJ, to what you said before, and Hannah, I'm curious what you think. I think where we're at is like, yes, that balance is what we should be striving for. I have a boyfriend, I have a partner, I have a husband, but I don't lead with that. And that's not my whole life. And that's not the only thing I care about. But why is it? And this might just be like a societal thing. We put romantic love on a pedestal. So I don't have a lot of examples in my life. I only have very few. Sequoia, our co-host, being one of them, of women who are in serious romantic relationships. And that is just one of the things on their plate. Like a lot of times, you get a boyfriend and it does become your whole world, or you get a girlfriend, it does become your whole world, and that person is prioritized above everyone else.
And I think that's a lose situation for women every time. No matter how great your boyfriend is or how in love with him you are, I think that the idea of putting a man on a pedestal is what's antiquated and lame. Because like even we look at famous women, like women have so much autonomy and so many things that they have access to and things they can do with their lives, that if that's still the thing that you're putting on a pedestal, like you're not living in the modern times. It used to be such a rite of passage, I suppose, for women, because we didn't have a lot else that we could do.
True.
You know what I mean? Like we could really only be housewives or a secretary or a nurse or a teacher.
Right.
Like, and we couldn't have our own bank accounts until 1974. So you really needed men in order to secure anything for yourselves. And now it's like women are surpassing men in so many different fields, whether that's like graduating from college or, you know, how much we
owning
earn.
property.
So with all that being said, if that's still like a huge achievement to you, getting a boyfriend or husband, other women are achieving much greater things. So I think that's why it's so lame, you know?
Absolutely.
I feel like social media as a whole too has made it an interesting topic of discussion because we have kind of had to do niches when it comes to like content creating.
True.
And so when you're used to following the girl who's doing cooking recipes, you don't necessarily want to see just all of a sudden it completely switch and go to, you know, couple content.
Right.
But I find in like personal pages and like friends from like that are like actual friends, when they do post a boyfriend, I am excited for them, especially if I know it's someone who has been like doing things for themselves for such a long time and has like wanted wanted a partnership or things like that. I'm like, I do find myself genuinely happy for other people in that sense too. But I think when you are following the creator with millions of followers and all of a sudden it's like, now this boyfriend's the center of my life, that's a different story than your random friend from high school that you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, like I've over the last 2 years, I built an entire platform around like, you know, you should be happy single. You should be happy independent. Like women have so much autonomy. It's so amazing. Like don't get a boyfriend, just get a boyfriend. Don't get married, just get married. And I recently, shocking to me still, but like I have a boyfriend now and I've been like slowly ushering him into my audience and I'm like just kind of like warming them up to the idea because I didn't know how they were going to react. And overwhelmingly, it's been positive. Like people are really happy for me. They're shocked. Yeah. Like I just was always the girl throughout my entire life that like I hated having a boyfriend. I don't want a boyfriend. Like I love being single. And so for me to have one's kind of shocking, but everyone's happy. So I think that it's just about having that well-rounded thing.
Yeah, like
you know?
You can still decenter men and have a boyfriend. You can still decenter men and date or want a relationship. I think something that I had to kind of have a mindset switch, which I do think speaks to the article and what they're kind of conveying here pretty well, is I was operating under the mindset of, if I get a boyfriend, I will care about work less. I will not see my friends as much. I will inevitably have to give more time and energy to this guy, so my creative pursuits will suffer. And when you tell yourself that is probably what's going to happen. But if you tell yourself, no, I am a woman who I care first and foremost about myself, about my life, about my career, about achieving the things that I want, and my partner, I will have a partner or a boyfriend who helps me achieve those things, who makes me even more creative, who makes me feel even more sensual and beautiful and unlocks more potential, then okay, then you'll have it that way, right?
Yeah, and I think that if you do have a situation like that, women should see that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's encouraging to be like, oh, here's MJ, and like my boyfriend makes my creative pursuits easier. Right. Like, and he is so supportive and he makes all those things that I care about even easier for me to pursue. So I think it's important to share some of that so women can see it and be like, oh, they're out there.
Okay. And now my question is, as we're talking about this, it's coming to my head, is that just really uncommon? And that's why we have most women, men are like soul sucking them. Like, is it uncommon to find a man who is going to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the position that we're in?
We are. It took me 30 years to find someone where I'm like, I actually want to be your girlfriend. It took me a long time, and he literally found me through my like feminist man-hating content. It was like, you know what? Yeah. You know what? Yeah. So it really was through me being authentic and polarizing that I found someone that I feel like is so aligned with me. But I think that, women have to demand that for it to be not uncommon anymore. Okay. And we need to show that when it does happen, like, it's possible.
True. Don't settle.
4-minute mile, babe. Like, if you believe it's impossible, it's going to be impossible. But the more you see people run those 4-minute miles, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to hold out for that because it's out there. It may take you a while to find. It may be uncommon right now, but it is out there.
Totally. And the discomfort of being single in our society makes people be like, well, I want to couple up. I don't want to wait out for this guy who loves my content. I want to be with this guy because I don't want the discomfort of being single.
But being single is cool. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm like, I think that's the important part of like this article and this conversation. Like being single is cool.
Yeah.
It's not lame. Like that's what used to be lame is like being single. It's like, no, girl, be Samantha Jones. Fuck it. You know, that's what I thought my life was going to be. So
True.
yeah.
I keep thinking about Kim Kardashian on Call Her Daddy too, because she's like, my person wouldn't be embarrassed by that. My person would support me in A, B, and C, and she's just like, if my person is like too awkward or too nervous, then it's not my person.
Yeah,
I know.
Right. Like,
And I think that we do talk about this, Hannah, you and I being single, we're like, and putting yourself out there on the internet and talking your shit and talking about pop culture, things that you're interested in. Like, I feel like sometimes guys are turned off by that, especially because content creation is such a female dominated space. And like, we can work for ourselves and be entrepreneurs. That's probably part of it. It's intimidating. But knowing that your man found you through your content is like all the more reason. Yeah, all the more reason to be like, okay, if a guy's turned off by my job or what I talk about or what I do or my beliefs, like keep it fucking pushing.
You not only that, you got to let it rip. Like authenticity and being polarizing is the easiest way to cut through what's not meant for you and find what's meant for you. Like you really need to like hold nothing back. Because they're out there.
They're out there.
Yeah.
Okay, this was a good pep talk.
it was. We're ready, Kate.